Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the MK2 Escort Project. In this episode we're going to look at a few more things on the to-do list. I think the first thing we're going to be doing is looking at the hole for the gear lever. Just maybe make a plate up and weld that in, or bolt it in, haven't quite decided yet. Once that's done, we're going to remove the engine and gearbox. I'm going to take the sump off it, take the rocker cover off it, and send that off to powder coating. I've been having to think over the week about what to do with the underside because I'm a little bit undecided at the moment. I know I said I was going to rub it back and paint it, but I may wait until winter breaks for that. So I'm thinking about just getting the bits powder coated, cleaning up the little bits of welding which needs doing, and running it for the summer until the weather gets bad, and then doing it in the winter, because I think if I go down the route of getting everything painted, I'm going to end up with a car off the road for the remainder of the year and nothing really to use, because the beige one needs a bit more money spent on. It's not really a road car, so I'm thinking about just getting this usable. I can do a few videos of it then with rolling repairs or changing things as I, maybe just if I don't find anything which works, and I can just change it out. So be interesting to see what you guys think of that. See if you think that's a good idea or a bad idea. And just enjoy the rest of the episode. So this is where we left it last episode. I just test fitted the battery, still plenty of clearance around the carbs there. Obviously we mounted the fuel pressure regulator with the inbuilt filter, exhaust manifolds on, radiators in. All we really need to do is just trim the battery tray a little bit, but we'll do that once the engine's back out. So what we're going to be doing first of all is looking at the gear lever area. Obviously, like I said in one of the prior episodes, meant to be able to, well, I think I just cut it wrong or measured it wrong, but we're just gonna cut this ring off this panel, make a new piece up to go in here, and then that will sit roughly by there, and there'll be another job ticked off the list. I think I'm going to make it a bolting panel rather than a welding panel, just in case I change my mind in the future about any gearbox options or anything else. But let's get cracking with that. So I measured inside the car the opening. We're going to do this slightly bigger than the opening itself, so we can just chuck some fixings in this so we can have it removable. And I cut this out of steel, and I cut the hole for the gear lever, and then offer it up in place. So this is the plate we've just cut. Like I said, I've cut it bigger than the opening, so sit roughly like that. Chuck a couple of fixings in up top, and then see where we can chuck in the side. Now we just need to work out where to cut the opening for the gear lever. So we'll just do that. Batteries always die when you least need them to. So that's the hole cut. It's not as big as it needs to be, but I don't have the holes for that size. But I'm just going to go offer this up to see how far out I am. I may get away with just being able to do that. Oh, dodge our way to the car. And before anyone comments, I'm not really a fabricator, so I know there's other people which can do a hell of a lot better job on this, but fabrication's not my thing really. Yeah, we are gonna have to go bigger because it is gonna catch. So I'll just use the die grinder or angle grinder or wherever I can get in there to open that opening up. So, take 2, that's a bit better. Perfect, so we'll just tack the gear lever ring into place, and then drill some bolts in there. So I've just chucked the gear linkage on loosely, just to double check a few things. I just need to trim the plate the gear linkage is on, just a little bit because it's catching. So I'm just going to use some tack screws to loosely put this in place for now, and then probably riv nut it in. I know a few people probably disagree with the way I'm doing this, but there's method to my madness, because I change my mind like the weather, so I probably will end up changing the gearbox in this at some point. So this just makes life a little bit easier down the road, that's all. So we'll just chuck some screws in this. As you can see then, it was just catching the corner of this. I know I'm going to get ripped for this, but these are just temporary, just remember that. There will be riv nuts with some Allen key headed bolts going in there. But yeah, let's go trim this down, double check it, and then we'll tick this off the list. So, just trim this to suit. Like I said, this isn't permanent. So before anyone starts ripping me about the tack screws, it's just purely to put this in position, and then I'll put it in with just a more permanent fixing, like an Allen bolt or something along them lines. Like I said, I changed my mind like the weather, so I don't want to weld it in at the moment until I am 100% happy with the engine and gearbox setup, because the last thing I want to do is start having to cut out bits I've already put in. So we'll take this off the list for the moment and then move on to the next part. So with the gear lever situation done, we're just going to set apart about pulling the engine and box back out. So we're going to have to remove the exhaust manifold, carbs, battery, radiator, and then get up in the air and start removing all the other bits, and then we can send the bits off for powder coating, finish up a few bits, and hopefully won't be too many weeks and we'll have a running driving car. That's pretty much everything on top that we need to be taken off. So now we're just going to lift up the air and then do that bit. So on the underside, all we have to do is the cross member bolts and the gearbox bolts, and that'll be the engine and box out. So I'm just going to use the super sketchy trolley cart to do this, and hopefully it doesn't kill us. We've had a bit of a technical issue here. Piers. My ramp has decided to die. Bear with me. So that's the engine and box out. Now we're just going to lift the engine and box off the stand. Going to take the sump off, rocker cover off, obviously the cross member, and maybe a few other bits, which I think I'll send off for powder coating. Gearbox side, I think I'm just going to give the bell housing and main casing a bit of a clean up. The tail section looks clean enough, to be fair. And then once we're back on the engine stand, we're going to degrease and clean the engine block, give that a lick of paint, and any other little bits which could do with a clean up, really. So there we have the engine back on the stand, gearbox off. Just put this to one side now. So we're just going to set about taking the bits off this and put them in the pile for the powder coating. So now we're going to pull the rocker cover off. So there we go, that's the rocker cover off. I'm not too sure what camshaft's in this. You can see markings E and 44. Just says crane there. Just going to turn the motor over and see if we can see any other markings on you, because it would be interesting to know what spec camshaft is actually in you, and to check the condition of the lobes, which so far seem pretty good condition. So 12F 107 and then 149306. So if that means anything to anyone, I'd like to hear from you, because like I said, I'm not particularly sure what spec camshaft it actually is. But everything looks pretty tip top under here. Can't see anything modified valve spring or rocker wise. Like I said, the heads are pretty stock as well. The run the vernier pulley. So we're just going to carry on unbolting a few more things. Then we need to unbolt the baffle out the sump, because I don't want to send the sump away with the baffle in it. And that's pretty much as far as we're going to go at the moment. So there we go, guys. Got the sump off, rock cover off, engine back out, gearbox over there. There's the box of bits to go for powder coating. The sump's just over in the oil drainer. I've soaked in diesel, so I'm going to try and get as much oil out of that as I can. Be interested to see what people recommend for the colour of the rocker cover. I'm thinking black, but see what you guys think as well. I'm open to all suggestions. Underside of the car, like I said earlier on in the episode, I didn't know if I was going to strip the car back down, and it's just more of a long drawn out process, and I am still leaning towards getting it up and running, using it over the summer and then stripping it again in the winter. But what we will do, we'll just seam sealer this off, give this a coat of paint, just maybe wire brush these down, give them a lick of primer or whatever, just to protect things and any other little bits. But I will do the rust patches and replace the brake, the fuel lines. But it'd be interesting to see your thoughts on this, because like I said, more 80%, 20% on actually doing that. I'm not too sure, because I don't want the summer to pass me by and I haven't used the car at all, and then I'm not going to use it in the winter anyway, so it'll be interesting to see. Next episode is going to be a bit of cleaning, painting. Got the back axle here, we're going to paint. I was hoping this episode would be a bit longer, and I have ordered quite a few parts for the front panel where we cut the radiator out. I've ordered rear springs, new steering rack, a load of bits really, but none of it's turned up, so I'm gonna call it there. Yes, we're gonna call the episode there, guys. If you like the episode, make sure you click the like button, and if you can, just share and subscribe to my channel. It does mean a lot to me, you guys watching this. I know some bits are not particularly interesting, but I enjoy watching them on other people's channels, so I'm guessing there's a few people out there which do enjoy this sort of thing. Yeah, don't know what else to say, but thank you and see you in the next episode.